Hi 5th graders, today we're going to learn about classifying angles, prime factor trees, adding fractions, and distributive properties. So let's get started. We're going to start off with classifying angles right here. I wrote that 90-degree angles equals a right angle, and an angle that's greater than 90 degrees is obtuse, and an angle that's less than 90 degrees is acute. And we're gonna do numbers 1, 2, and 3. We're going to classify numbers 1, 2, and 3. And as we can see here, there's no degree signs, right? But if we look at number 3, it has this square right there, right? And that square is always going to represent, here, I'll try to this square here is always going to represent 90 degrees at all times, okay? So as I said before, 90 degrees angles equals a right triangle. So as I said, this square represents a 90 degrees, then number 3 would automatically be classified as a right angle. So let's write right angle. Oops. We're going to put right angle. That's the answer for number 3. Now let's look at numbers 1 and 2. And the easy way to figure out whether it's obtuse or acute without having any degrees is if it opens like this. As we can see here, a 90 degrees is perfectly straight, and over here it's a little bit over that line, like it's like stretched out, and that means that it's more than 90 degrees. So number 2 would be considered an obtuse angle. So you're gonna write obtuse angle. Now we're gonna look at number 1. Number one gives us an angle that's folded over, and as I said, this line right here would be considered a 90 degrees, and we can see that this line right here does not reach a 90 degrees angle, and it's shorter. So that means that number 1 will be considered an acute angle. So we're gonna put acute. And that's how you classify whether it's an acute, obtuse, or right angle. Automatically, right angles are the easiest to determine. Now we're going to do prime factor trees. Let's do number 1 together. So number 1, it gives us 28, and it also gives us the 7. And in this case, the circle is going to represent a prime number, and a prime number is a number that can't be divisible except for like 1. And in this case, 7 is in the circle, right? And we know that only 7 times 1 equals 7, so that's why the 7 goes into the circle. And when we divide 28 by 7, we get 4. And 4 is in a box or square because it can be because 2 times 2 equals 4. So we're going to write 2. We're going to write 2 and 2. And 2 and 2 are both in circles because even though you may think that prime numbers are only odd numbers, 2 is actually a prime number because only 2 times 1 equals 2. And we'll do number 2 together, and you guys have to do number 3 together. Alone. Number 2 gave us 54, and it gave us 2 boxes this time, and one of them was 9. And when we divide 54 by 9, we get 6. So we're going to put 6 here. And we're going to start off with 9 since it's given. We already know that 9 times 1 equals 9, but that doesn't count, right? Because 9 can still be divisible. So we're going to go on to 3. And we know that 3 times 3 equals 9, so we're going to put 3 and 3. And once again, 3 can't be divisible by any other number than 3 and 1. So that's why it's in a circle, which is a prime number. And as for 6, once again, 2 times 1 does equal 6, but 6 times 1 does equal 6, but 2 times 3 is a better answer because both 2 and 3 are prime numbers, and it can't be divisible anymore. Now we're going to go on to adding fractions. Number 3 gave us, let's write it down first. Number 3 gave us 4 over 12 plus 8 over 9. In case of fraction, when it comes to fractions, you would normally find the least common denominator, but in this case, 4 over 12, right here, 4 over 12 can be simplified even further. So before we do anything, we're going to simplify 4 over 12 first. And we get 1 over 3, because we know that both 4 and 12 can be divisible by 4. So we're going to get a simplified version of 1/3. And we already know that 8 over 9 can't be simplified any further, so we're going to keep it that way. Once we have it all simplified, now we're going to do LCD, least common denominator. And we know that the least common denominator is 9. So all we have to do is change the 1/3 to something over 9. And in order to do that, we'd have to multiply 1/3 by 3. And when we multiply 1/3 by 3, we get 3 over 9 plus 8 over 9. And we would get 11 over 9. And you can either keep it as an improper fraction, 11 over 9, or you can leave it as a mixed number, which will be 11 divided by 9 will be, 9 goes into 11 once, so we subtract by 9, and then we get 2, and 2 is the remainder, so we're just going to put 2 over 9. So the mixed number will be 1 or 2 over 9. Now we're going to do number 8 together. Number 8 gave us 6 over 9 plus 1/3. And in this case, you can also, I'm sorry, this 9 looks a little bit. You can also simplify 6 over 9 further, right? But the only reason why I simplified the 4 over 12 and number 3 is because it's easier to do the equation, but you can also do it here. You could also, for this number 8, you can multiply 1/3 by 3, or you can just simplify 6 over 9. And let's just do simplification first. And we know both 6 and 9 can be simplified by the number 3, so we're gonna put 2 over 3. And already we have LCD, or same denominators. So we just need to add, and we get 3 over 3. So number 8 will just be 1. Oops, that's an ugly one. 1. And let's check our answers. Number 3 was 1 and 2/9, and number 8 was 1. Yep, and that's how you do adding fractions. Now we're going to move on to distributive property. We're going to do number 4 together. Number 4 gave us 3 times 28. 3 times 28. So as you can see in the example, they split up the 22, and they didn't really split up the 2 because it was already, it only has one number. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to split up the 28, and we know that 28 consists of 20 plus 8. That's the easiest way. You could also do like 14 and 14. You can do whatever you want, but we're going to go with 20 and 8. So we're going to do, as we see in the example, we're going to do 3 times 20 plus 3 times, plus 3 times 8. And we know that 3 times 20 is 60. And we know that 3 times 8 is 24. So we're just going to add 60 and 24. And we get 84. And that should be your final answer for number 4. Distributive property is when you split the numbers up. And for this worksheet, you have to put these equations into, you have to split them up using distributive property and then find the answer. And let's see if our answer is correct. Number 4 is 84, and we got 84. And that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this video helped you guys a bit.